Agent, good evening.
Hi, Cliff. Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Good evening to you and George.
Evening.
Yes, sir.
Cliff, I've been listening to Mr. Morgan and the senator, and I hear the breaking news about the the speaker. My opinion is, I think the speaker in this case, I think the speaker. I must declare my hand. I'm a supporter of the Labour Party. I've been a strong supporter of them for almost all my life, my voting life.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm objective enough to recognize if something like this happens. My suggestion would be that the speaker step aside for to allow for proper probity and the nature of where we are with this corruption perception. But Cliff and George, I want to hear you on this. I think that corruption in Jamaica has lost its meaning.
How?
I really think, I think, because my view is that everything, and especially when it comes to politicians, from both sides, everything we call corruption.
True.
Everything. I remember some years ago when the goodly gentleman Mike Henry was the Minister of Road and Work, something like that. And the JDIP program was going on. And there was a big outburst that there was so much corruption in it. And I think that they had put it on pause, order forensic audit. When the audit came back, there was no evidence of corruption. But the perception was still out there, and it leave out there, they'll never get it back. And I really think every single thing it happened in this country, we call it corruption.
You're right. Let me give you an example. If it is that a government in office is doing a works project, a major works project, and because of incompetence in scoping the work and costing the work, and when the procurement is done and the works are performed and you have cost overruns because of the bad scoping and the bad projections and the bad costing, people say it's corruption. But it's not corruption, it's incompetence. But guess what? The corruption perception and the correct point you make about everything being called corruption, it's created by the politicians themselves, because when they're accusing each other, when party in opposition is accusing party in government, and when there's incompetence involved, and when people are in above their levels and are not performing up to standard, they tell us, the public, to replace them as government because they are corrupt, that they're engaging in corruption in this instance, that instance, and the other instance. So that's why we are where we are, because you are so correct, sir. I could applaud you for this. Everything we call corruption.
George, one other thing I want to say, if you'll allow me. Hello?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
One other thing I want to say, if you'll allow me, is that we, the people, media, this is our country. We can't leave, because this perception of corruption hurts all of us, We can't leave it to the politicians alone. This past week I heard a story on your station about the declaration, the different groups that are making their declaration.
That was last week.
Commission.
That was last week.
It was last week.
Yeah, the percentage of compliance, yes.
Right, and the percentage of compliance. And I was surprised to hear that the politicians were the ones that were almost 100% compliant.
Yes.
And guess what happened? The judiciary
was like 80%.
In one,
wasn't it 78?
Compliant.
Oh.
I was surprised.
Yeah, man.
And you know what? It made news on your station. Congratulations. But you know what? It never became a talking point. But if the reverse was true, that the politicians were not making their declaration, it would have been a talking point.
Yes.
And that's where I think we, the people, including media, we can help to lower this perception, because everything we call corruption, even when it is not.
Yep.
That's all for now. Thank you so much.
Call of the evening. Thank you, man.